Hey guys, Chris here from Carolot Farm. Have you ever wondered what a late September garden looks like? Well, let me show you ours. This time of year, we still have a few crops that are coming in strong. We have a few that are producing a little here and there, and then we have a few surprises every now and then. So let me show you what we've got. So the second wave of tomatoes are just coming in. They're looking great. I'm still picking them when they're yellow, a little orange, and letting them finish up ripening inside. But, every couple of days I come out and I'm picking a pretty good number of tomatoes. With a late picking of tomatoes such as this, we'll do a few sandwiches with some of those sandwich style tomatoes, but then we'll do tomatoes and okra and chili, and we'll use these in small batch recipes, but the salsa is certainly done for the year. Our eggplants are also really happy for this time of year. This is the largest one I've picked so far today, but I have a whole pile of them that I've already trimmed. I have a few more behind me here that I'm going to trim. Some are small, some just don't get to be as large as this, but we've had a really, really good eggplant crop this year. Our peppers are still really, really happy. They love the slightly cooler temperature. Our bell peppers are just taking off. Not only do we have a bunch of green peppers, but I've got a bunch of red peppers. Now the red peppers are small. They didn't really mature quite as nicely as the green peppers. Not sure why, but we have a bunch of them that have already turned red, so it's certainly time to pick them. Sometimes when you're out picking your produce, you find some that maybe aren't in the best of shape. This one has a little bit of a bad spot. I went ahead and picked it early. There's no need for it to get any larger because that one damaged spot on it will continue to grow. But if you pick your pepper now, you can still bring it into the house. You can easily trim that spot off, and it's a perfectly good pepper still. Another thing that we've noticed with some of our peppers, and again, it doesn't really harm the pepper itself, it just makes them not quite as lovely, are the little crackles that you get on some of them. We've seen this on one or two of our green bells so far, but we've seen it a lot on our jalapenos, and I'm not really sure why. I think it's a water issue, but again, they're perfectly fine to eat. They just don't look quite as nice. And then we have our chili peppers. These are our hatch chilies. This is a really nice collection of 3 on this little plant. I'll pick those. They all look good to pick. And there are several others on not only this plant, here's a really big one in the back that I will pick, but many more on the other plants. Another fun thing we've started doing with our peppers, because again, we're in this boom of our pepper crop, we've been taking some of our hatch chilies as well as our green bells and even our jalapenos, and we've been stuffing them with like a potato cheese mixture. And that was really, really tasty. We did that last weekend, and we definitely want to do that again. Here is one of the plants I was telling you that have these small little red bells on them. I'm going to pick them. Not sure what we'll do with them, but it's interesting that they never got very large. I just want to show you what a wonderful, crop that we just picked. We have hatch chilies, we have green bells, we have some red bells, we have our kind of crackled jalapenos here. We had a few more habaneros. We have some little yellow bells, serranos. So we really had such a wonderful batch of peppers to pick, and we'll probably be sharing the vast majority of these because there's just no way that we're going to eat this many peppers, in a timely fashion. But the jalapeno poppers were really good last weekend that we made. We did some chili relleno with hatch chilies and green peppers as well. So we'll probably do another round of that soon. But what a great day here in the garden. As I sit here and talk to you about my peppers, which I'm very happy with, it's starting to sprinkle, which is not a bad thing. We need rain. But what I still need to do today is I need to pick these green beans that are sitting behind me. They're in desperate need of being picked for the second time, and I'm really curious to see how many beans I pick today. So let me start that, and then I'll show you. Because we have had to cover our green beans with deer netting here to keep the groundhog from eating them, it does take me a couple minutes to uncover everything, open the netting, and then get to work. But you can already see where there are a few green beans right here just waiting to be picked. I have found these little teeny alligator clips to be the perfect thing to hold my deer netting onto those metal planters. You know, they are getting rusty. They're not going to last long. They certainly weren't made to be out in the elements year-round, but they're pretty inexpensive, and again, they were super handy this season. Now that we have our deer netting off, it's time to pick our beans and see just how many we get. I first saw that they were in need of being picked over a week ago, so some of these are still looking good and tender. I might find some that are really big and a bit tough, but let's see what we find. I'll also share a little tip. I'm sitting on a bucket to allow me to reach the majority of the beans at the edge without having to really bend too far over or stress my knees any more so than I already have. It's been a long, hard summer, so I'm gonna take a little break and do what I can from a sitting position, and we'll see how long this takes. It might have to be a 2-session picking. We'll see though. I've just finished picking the second round of beans here, and I've got close to a 3.5 gallon bucket of beans. So that was a pretty good picking here. Again, this is the second time I've picked my second batch of beans. So we've had another really good crop here, guys. Again, for late September, I'm pretty ecstatic. As I was talking about the green beans, you may have spied our squash and zucchini, or what were once our squash and zucchini. Those crops have totally dried up. We even just stopped watering them about 2 weeks ago, which was probably when we picked the last squash. So those are all finished for the season. Another crop that's really slowing down are the okra plants. There was a time where we were picking okra every single day and a ton of okra. Then it was every other day, and now it's every couple of days. So the okra pods are growing much, much slower, and pretty soon here they'll fizzle. We're still getting okra flowers, so there's a chance we could continue to get some for another week or two, but we'll just kind of have to see how that crop goes. My butternut squash behind me here will be harvested soon. I want to say, based on the 80 to 100 days, it's going to be early October when they should be ripe. I'll have to double check on when I planted them and the recommended time frame, but I want to say it's the first part of October. Here's a little look at our winter squash, the butternut squash here. You can see the gourds are beginning to turn a little more of that golden brown color, but they still have another 2 weeks probably before harvest. Our broccoli plants here are doing well. I do see where 1 or 2 of them have already flowered a little, which isn't as ideal because what we want is a larger head, not these little teeny flowers. But hopefully we'll be getting some more substantial broccoli heads this fall. Our cauliflower, like our broccoli, is covered by the deer netting, and the plants are growing nicely, but they've yet to start forming any heads, but they should still have some more time this fall to do so. Our sweet potatoes here are definitely turning more and more yellow by the day, and we'll be picking them, I think, here pretty soon, probably even before the butternut squash. But yeah, I just want to show you these. The groundhog had been nipping at them, but luckily the plants have reached maturity, I think, and will be just fine. Now that I'm finished up in the garden for today, I'm going to say farewell. Thanks for joining us, and check back soon because, as you can see, we're going to still have a few more weeks of gardening, and then we might even have some winter crops. We'll see. I have yet to put in our greens, but if I do, we'll definitely have to be covering them as we head into some colder weather. So check back soon and see what we're up to. Bye, guys.